This video was brought to you by Raycon. Oh lord, how is it already the holiday season? I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and suddenly find myself in my deathbed. But at least I know as I exit this mortal coil, I'll have some Raycons to help soothe my soul. Happy holidays, everyone. Anyway, Raycon's been making a name for themselves in premium audio for years now, providing premium tech products including the everyday earbuds, headphones, and their new line of tech like Raycon Home, the Magic 180 charging cable, and faucet filter. All available at a great price and have over tens of thousands of 5-star reviews from satisfied customers. To make it even better, Raycon's throwing an early Black Friday promotion across their entire site. 20% off everything, with some select products even going as far as 50% off. So it don't matter if it's their fitness earbuds, their tech kits, their impact earbuds and speaker, everything's on sale for this event, and as always, their everyday earbuds will get my personal endorsement. I've been rocking these babies for a few years now and I'm genuinely a fan. I love wearing them either when I'm out in the garage arranging stuff or deck building my next money sink in Yu-Gi-Oh! So what are you waiting for? 3 kings? Get an early start on holiday sales by shopping Raycon's early Black Friday sale today. Go to buyraycon.com/Somecallmejohnny to get 20 to 50% off site-wide. Either way, I just appreciate you being here and helping support this channel. Thank you, as always. Now, let's talk Sonic the Hedgehog. Thanks. Alright now, get yourself acquainted here. Yeah, I'm taking things upstairs to the living room for today's video because downstairs is currently under renovations, trying to get it all nice and spiffy for upcoming videos. Hopefully it'll be good by the next one, but that remains to be seen. I gotta find a better spot for these soundproofing, man. But anywho, I'm back. It's getting close to the end of the year. I got some catching up to do. A new Sonic game has entered the scene, and I want to start there. And just a heads up, I know it's been a bit since the game released, but still, I want to put a spoiler warning on this because I'm going to spoil the shit out of this as I'm talking about it. One thing I'll say now, though, if you cannot stay to watch this, don't spend $60 on this. You still here? Okay. Let's talk about Sonic Superstars. With the release of Sonic Frontiers last year, and with that game getting planned DLC throughout 2023, which by the way, gonna be working on that round 2 very soon, I gotta tell you, it was a pleasant surprise to see Sega and Sonic Team announce a brand new 2D classic Sonic game titled Sonic Superstars, a collaboration between Sonic Team and RZS, meaning that for the first time since Sonic Adventure way back in 1998, series co-creator and president of RZS, Naoto Oshima, would be helping create a new Sonic game. Despite not having a hand with Sonic games for so long, he was still a fan of the blue guy, and the way I look at it personally, after Balan Wonderworld, yeah, that was from RZS, and after all that shit that happened with Yuji Naka, I'm thinking Naoto Oshima decided, man, I'm just gonna go back to what I know, and what better place to start than the franchise that helped put on the map. That said, this wasn't exactly what I had in mind when I was expecting a new classic Sonic game. Ever since Sonic Mania back in 2017, the critical and financial success it garnered, which even caught Sonic Team's Takashi Iizuka by surprise, could you imagine a good game getting praise and selling well? Anyway, I thought a sequel to that game presentation and everything was a shoo-in, but it never happened. Not that there wasn't an attempt. Sonic Team and Evening Star Studios, consisting of developers who worked on Sonic Mania previously, they tried to get something going with the Sonic Mania follow-up, but things would eventually fall through. Sonic Team wanted to shake it up, as they are wont to do to a borderline insane degree, with Evening Star Studio instead focusing on their next project, Penny's Big Breakaway. I hope that's a good time. So instead of a continuation of Sonic's pixelated adventures, Sonic Superstars went 2.5D, like the second episode of Sonic 4. And you know me, I'm always going to be a proponent of pixel-based platformers and would have preferred they kept the look of the Genesis games, but that doesn't mean I immediately condemn the look of Superstars' direction either. In fact, to tackle the graphics and presentation now, I think Sonic Superstars is a great looking game. I think the camera during gameplay could have been placed a bit further back. That thing is just a little too fucking close for comfort for my 2D Sonic experience. There are a few times where you travel between the back and foregrounds of levels, which gives me a much better view of what's ahead, which I think is imperative for a fast-paced platformer like Sonic. Hell, I would have loved they did the Sonic CD thing where the camera shifted either left or right to let you get a better view of oncoming hazards. What the fuck? Naoto Oshima had this shit figured out over 30 years ago. Just keep doing that. This was also going to be a Sonic game where you can play with friends in local co-op, and I wanted to start there real quick because this game's multiplayer sucks dick. Think back to local co-op from Sonic 2, how one player always bolted ahead, leaving the other in the dust. Extend that to 4 players now. Now imagine everyone trying to stay ahead of each other just so they can actually see what they're doing. Imagine tackling levels clearly not designed for this shit, which is almost all of them. I borrowed some folks for this and we couldn't stomach more than an hour. Sonic Superstars multiplayer is an afterthought. Now I could see this working in an online sense where every character could have the screen to themselves, but that's not how it works in Sonic Superstars. It's local only and you gotta share the same screen. This shit's a mess, and looking forward to the eventual SGB playthrough where the group splits up at the end of it. Still, going back to the graphics, visually Sonic Superstars is all I could really ask for in any Sonic game, really. Bright colors, a bouncy aesthetic, and a bopping, if incredibly disconnected soundtrack. Sonic Superstars soundtrack is a group effort between a couple of folks, including T. Lopes, Hidenori Shoji, and Rintaro Soma, with longtime Sonic composer Jun Sano acting as director and contributing some themes himself, fully demonstrating that the man still can't compose Genesis-era music for shit. It really leads to the whole soundtrack having an insanely hit-and-miss vibe, because in this game, right, we got some incredible beats. I love how strong it starts with Bridge Island, which to be fair, was originally written by Jun Sano. T-Lopes just handled arranging it, but damn it, that arrangement is fucking stellar, leading to a track I love listening to. The special stage music, Speed Jungle, Pinball Carnival, Lagoon City, and Frozen Bass are all great listens, as are the cute little themes that play when you use one of those special Chaos Emerald powers. You speed it up a bit, and I swear the music that plays with the slow power sounds like a Nintendo Direct piece.
For the first time in 10 years.
No, I don't know how this thing works. The title screen theme is also legit one of my favorites to ever grace a Sonic game, but for every bop, there's something like the boss battle themes, or Press Factory, or Golden Capital. At least the first act, because I think the second act is actually pretty decent, but anyway, look. I don't want to be too mean to Jun Sano. He's qualified for multiple veteran rewards discounts at this point, and I legit think he's a great composer when he's trying to make something more contemporary, but all of his contributions here have all the standard hallmarks of him trying to make a classic Sonic song and just not getting it. The overuse of those damn Sonic 1 and 2 snares, the repetitive melodies with no real build up to anything, and the feeling that these songs just loop after 10 seconds. It's such a stark contrast to other compositions in this game that don't feel like they're deliberately trying to constrain themselves for the sake of fitting an old school vibe. It leads to the whole soundtrack feeling disjointed as all hell, and that really sucks, man, because when I find myself going back to a soundtrack, I only want to find myself hitting the skip button when I reach a music piece, I don't like as much as others. And not because, God, what the hell is this? It sounds awful, get it away. Sadly, that's what I end up doing to a decent chunk of songs in Sonic Superstars, and I really wish it weren't like that. But music, presentation, that only is a part of what makes Sonic, so we should get into the game proper, and I will be looking at the PlayStation 5 version to give the game some credit. I haven't heard anything really bad about any other version of the game, not on Xbox, not on PC, and not on the Switch, so no matter which version you get, I think you're pretty much good to go. After a somewhat lethal endeavor through some ancient ruins, Dr. Eggman discovers that the North Star Islands houses a secret that he wants all to himself, so he gets right to work doing his Eggman thing, building an army of badniks big and small, using all kinds of different animals, big and small. And I mean, some of these animals are absolute fucking units. I mean, damn! But also joining him is bounty hunter and dude who probably still has a landline in his house, Fang the Hunter, returning to the scene after being absent for nearly 3 decades. But just like his previous outings, Fang's only in this for the money, using his trusty hovercraft and vast arsenal of weapons to cause trouble. And finally, there's the newcomer Trip, which the game makes no effort in hiding that she isn't really evil and will probably betray Eggman just after a few zones. Still, I actually really like Trip's design, helmet or no. Naoto Oshima proving that he still got it when it comes to character designs, and I find her timid personality insanely adorable. And dude, she fucking turns into a fire-breathing dragon when she has all the Chaos Emeralds. That's metal as shit. I hope she becomes a mainstay after this, but time will tell. Anywho, of course, Sonic finds out about Eggman's schemes and teams up with Tails, Knuckles, and Amy to travel through the North Star Islands to stop the Bad Doctor once again. I'm actually very happy to see Amy Rose here. I know it's one part because it's the 30th anniversary of her character, but I also think Sonic Team is finally pulling the trigger on Amy being a permanent inclusion if this game, her inclusion in Sonic Origins Plus and Sonic Frontiers, is anything to go by. I think she should have been a mainstay in classic Sonic for years at this point, and while I don't think she compares to her advanced counterpart, I'm just glad Amy is, part of the gang now, no different than how Tails and Knuckles entered the scene so many years back. So at this rate, I should be expecting Blaze the Cat in about... well, I can't count that high. It's a classic Sonic game, so the story's minimal. Sonic and the gang wanted to tackle all the obstacles the North Star Islands contain, and off the bat I just wanted to highlight, while I am sort of disappointed we didn't get a second Sonic Mania, if there's one thing Superstars has over that game, it's originality. Every zone in this game is unique to Sonic Superstars. I mean, sure, aesthetically they ring familiar, which I feel just can't be helped when you have a franchise going on for this long, but I think Sonic Superstars freshens up the vibe just enough to make it stand out on its own. And regarding the gameplay of Sonic Superstars, I'm glad that in terms of feel and control, it's basically one-to-one like the Genesis games. I can roll down hills and other slopes and the speed only picks up, the spin dash works as it should, Sonic's got the drop dash again, it's still a great extension of his skill. There's no super peel out though, and no insta-shield, sad to say. But that's not all bad given the plethora of other skills granted by the Chaos Emeralds this go around. More on that in a bit. Tails can still fly and carry others to safety, Knuckles can glide and climb walls, Amy is capable of a double jump, and thanks to her hammer, her range of jump attacks is the largest out of anyone else. I think her difficulty reaches a nice balance between Sonic and Tails. The double jump alone makes her incredibly accessible in this. No shit, she ended up being my favorite of the bunch because of it. The newcomer Trip is also a playable character in this once you beat the story mode, and you know what? I found her pretty fun. She's got a double jump like Amy, and she can cling on walls like she's rocking the spike power-up from Sonic Colors. She's just great for exploration. At first I thought she was only playable in her own story mode, the one that unlocks when you finish the game, but it turns out she's also available in the main campaign as well, so you and a friend can have some fun with her should you decide to go back. And I think this game does give you plenty of reason to go back. The multiple characters are one thing, but you can also collect these gold medals scattered everywhere in every stage. You can use these to purchase cosmetics for your battle bot in the game's battle mode. That is incentive, but jumping the gun here, I think this game's battle mode is pretty middling. Nothing bad, just horribly inoffensive. You make your own little robot buddy to participate in some battle games, star collecting, racing to the finish. Nothing that will turn the needle anytime soon, so I didn't care much for it. So by extension, I didn't care much about collecting the gold medals. I did pop off occasionally whenever I found one of those hidden gold badniks. You get 100 medals finding those guys. I know I just said I didn't care for the medals, but that doesn't mean I don't like seeing the number go up. Chaos Emeralds and special stages are back, multiple ones at that. The ones with the emeralds you find by locating the giant rings like in Sonic 3. I'm just glad this is becoming the standard for finding special stages now because I'd take this over needing 50 rings for a checkpoint or a giant ring at the end of the level. But if you are looking for something like that, crossing a checkpoint with a certain number of rings will let you enter another bonus game. There's no slot machine or pinball or glowing spheres. It's the Sonic 1 special stage again. I would have preferred something else, but well, I didn't mind these. It's actually one of the easier variations of this game because the physics are kind of non-existent here. You can get away being a little reckless in these and still finish up just fine. Unfortunately, the only reward is more gold medals for battle modes, so I wasn't actively trying to hunt these down, you get me? I'm also not the biggest fan of the special stage. I didn't even fully process what I was doing the first time I got here, but so you're grappling between these points as you slowly swing your way towards the emerald, until you get close enough to homing attack it yourself. All in all, it isn't bad. I got most of my first try, but it can still be pretty annoying. The homing reticle just can't make up its mind on when it shows up and when it doesn't. I have a plan in motion to catch the emerald, but that doesn't mean shit if the reticle doesn't show up and I can't home in on those launchers or the cannons. And since the emerald follows a strict path, I also can't waste too much time on collecting rings for the timer and all that shit. I have to know the best time to cut corners and try and intercept the emerald. The 5th emerald gave me the hardest time, not because I couldn't catch the emerald. No, I get that it follows a path, but sometimes that damn homing attack just wouldn't go off, and there I go falling to my impending doom again. Kiss my ass. You're only allowed 1 emerald per zone, just a heads up. If you find another giant ring after grabbing the emerald, it'll be blue, with the only reward is more gold medals. Fucking go away, I'm not interested. You know what though? I don't mind this design. I'm glad that after finding 1 emerald, I don't have to worry about doing a pixel hunt for more giant rings in the same zone, and I can just play the stage like a normal goddamn human being. It also gives me ample time to test out the corresponding new power-up you get when you manage to grab the emerald. And just the idea of this alone, I absolutely love. We're finally getting use out of emeralds individually and not just for a super form you get when you grab all 7. Are they all winners? No, but I don't think any of them are terrible. I think the ones I used the least were Vision, Water, and Vine. Vision lets you temporarily spot hidden items and platforms, which for a game as fast as Sonic I found more counterintuitive than anything. The best way to get use out of this power in a Sonic game is coming to a screeching halt. No thanks. Water, like the frog suit in Mario 3, is best used in water. Without this, I would have fucking smashed my TV against the boss battle in Lagoon City hours ago. When you're not in water though, you're only using it whenever you happen to come across a waterfall or something like it, which isn't always available. Vine lets you summon a stalk that'll keep growing and growing and growing until you either hit a ceiling or the timer runs out. It's limited, but I did get some use out of this looking for hidden rings and even against a few boss fights where I could score an early hit. The extra power can also be cool, but it varies depending on the character using it. With Sonic, it's the homing attack, which is alright. Trip throws fireballs like Mario. It's not quite as snappy as the Fire Flower, but I got some use out of it in certain encounters. Hell, Amy also gets a Mario-esque power-up now that I'm thinking about it, where she throws her hammer like a hammer brother. Is Sonic Superstars using subliminal messaging to get me to play a better game? I'm kidding. Tails and Knuckles, I couldn't tell you what they did with the extra thing because by the end of my initial adventure in post-game, I was too burnt out to give a shit. The MVP powers for me were Avatar, Slow, and yeah, that's right, it's just called Bullet. Excellent. Avatar summons a bunch of clones zipping past the screen. In the middle of the stage, it's great for clearing the way, and in boss battles, it helps score an extra hit sooner than expected when you really just want to get a move on. Bullet gives you an omnidirectional air dash for a short period. It's like Burst from Sonic Colors DS, but you have a greater degree of control. I think this might be my favorite of the bunch actually, since I found it a great tool for exploration, speed, and boss battles. Checking all the boxes there. Slow is exactly what it sounds like. It slows down time like the red gem in Sonic 06, giving you breathing room to respond to incoming hazards and other shit coming your way. This became more useful in later stages that were drowning in hazards, and it makes those roller coaster bits in Pinball Carnival less of a hectic eyesore. Having a super form ready when you grab all the emeralds will always be great, and every character here does have a super form, although only Sonic and Trip get like fast transformations. Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, they just glow like earlier. Is it really too much to make unique transformations for these characters? Come on, guys. But all that said, I love that there's much more you can do with the emeralds now individually. It's like you have a selection of wisp powers at your beck and call whenever, and they recharge whenever you cross a checkpoint. Your mileage may vary on effectiveness, but these all feel like honest-to-God power-ups to me. You know, it helps me forget the fact that Sonic's not rocking off his classic abilities from before, or that the game has no elemental shields. I find the new emerald powers help keep the pace up and prevent things from stagnating, and I'm happy to say there wasn't really a zone in this game that I actively hated. No, a Bridge Island, a great first zone for Sonic games. It's like if Emerald Coast, Hilltop, and Bridge Zone made sweet love and produced this fun little stage. Speed Jungle, the rail grinding could be a little much, and in multiplayer, the limited view sections are a fucking nightmare, but I still love the bouncy fun I can have in this zone. Sky Temple, I found one of the better area levels, if that makes any sense. Take Sky Canyon from Sonic Advance 2 and remove all the stupid shit in it. It's also only one act, and that was a little surprising for me. Yeah, not every zone in this game consists of 2 acts. Sometimes it's just one large act with only a single boss. It's not the first game to do it, sure, but it still feels a little off the cuff, you know? Pinball Carnival has great beats, but as far as pinball levels go, this is nothing you haven't seen already, until you get to the precise roller coaster bits that are harder than they need to be because of that damn camera being just a bit too up Sonic's ass. With good timing though, you can reach the higher pathways and find some more hidden goodies up. Yeah, experiment. Yeah, it's me. I think it might be time to resume that project we were talking about a couple of years back. Yeah, that one. Don't worry about the customs cost. I can wait, how much is it? Wait, hello? Oh. Anyway, where the hell was I? Right. I love Lagoon City's aesthetic too. It's like a combination of water palace from Sonic Rush and Aqua Lake Zone from Sonic 2 8-bit. It even has the bubble gimmick from that game. Though Hydro City and Sonic Mania also brought that back too, so is this just going to be a thing now for water levels at this point? Amy's version of this stage is just the most adorable thing. The deadly fruit give me all the worst memories from Falcon. Fuck! But it's here where Amy helps out Trip when she needs it, and just watching these two jump past hazards is the sweetest fucking thing in this game. I got nothing much to say about Sand Sanctuary because it's only one act, not a very long one at that, and I used Bullet to skip past most of it. I was starting to feel the strain. Press Factory, I didn't hate this level, but it was one of my least favorite. First, I love the gimmick of Act 2 where you have to keep the temperature of the drone in the background in check because if it overheats, it one-shots you. There's a degree of tension in this zone that makes it fast and frantic, but fuck whatever they did to the spinning orbs. These were so simple to navigate in the other games. You just use gravity to your advantage and catapulted your way to victory, but in this game, you're less catapulting and more tilting the analog stick in the direction you want to launch, which doesn't convey well on the screen because Sonic's still orbiting the ball like a fucking moon. It's really difficult to explain and more of a problem for me who's been playing Sonic games since the Stone Age, but fuck is it uncomfortable. Golden Capital is another... Golden Capital is another pinball-esque stage, strangely. I can't immediately think of a Sonic game that had 2-in-1 adventure, but I fuck with the vibe. The gold trims and checkerboard floors remind me of Twinkle Park, and in some way, Nights into Dreams. It also has bits where you drill into the ground like Sonic Colors. The mini-boss is also a giant piggy bank. Yeah, that's right, Sonic, take it to him. No investments, just bankruptcy. You need help. Cyberstation, man, this zone is so fucking cool looking, and I love the blocky character designs when you cross certain thresholds. I don't get the jellyfish bits, but, it controls well enough, so no real harm there. Frozen Base is probably the most inoffensive zone in the whole game for me. It's an ice stage that doesn't really have any real ice gimmicks, and by the end of the first bit, it just becomes a game of fantasy zone. And the boss of this place is almost beat for beat the covered core boss from Gradius 3. Now, I personally got no problem playing shoot 'em ups, as I said before, but still, this is a bit of a shift. Folks probably thinking they were done with the Sonic Frontiers final boss bullshit, and Superstars was like, motherfucker, we got some of that too. Hey everybody, this is Somecallmejohnny from the future here. So, apparently, according to my editor, I did not play Act 1 of Frozen Base as Sonic in my normal playthrough, which was odd to me because, well no, at the end of Cyber Station, it gives you a prompt to go to Frozen Base Act Tails, doesn't it? Yeah. So, what happens is that I chose Act Tails because that's what it said. I played the stage and that immediately bled into Act 2, which means Act 1 was completely skipped. Now, I thought that was really bizarre. That's exactly why I thought, like originally in the script, the zone was inoffensive. It was like, oh, it's kind of one and done, and then it becomes Fantasy Zone by the end. But it's like, no, because you didn't play Act 1 because the game skipped it for you. So I go back, I play it. Yeah. The final zone, Egg Fortress, has an incredibly neat twist. It plays like a standard final area in classic Sonic. Everything and their grandmother trying to kill you, explosions everywhere, things falling apart, it's chaos. But by the end of the first act, Eggman reverses time, which you can just now do for the record, and the second act is you going through the stage in reverse while time is slowly rewinding back, and what were once harmless background events are now new obstacles for you to overcome. It's visually stellar. But jank as shit. I think this is the act I died the most in, God, because of shit like that. Most of my time in Sonic Superstars has been relatively glitch-free. There were no hard locks or freezing or anything like that, but it is no stranger to the occasional bouts of jank that I still think haven't been patched out at the time of this video going up. I had a bit where I found myself warping to the final zone in the hub world well before I was ready to go in, but then I ended up falling off the face of the earth. Good going there, Sonic. Hitboxes can be stupidly weird at times. What the fuck hurt me there? I swear at boss fights the programming is running off shoestrings and hope. Some of these guys look like they're on the verge of snapping reality and what is it? What is it, Fangbot? Why do you keep looking over there? What is it? What do you see? Oh! Ugh, boy, I guess I gotta talk about this now. So because we have 4 playable characters in this classic Sonic or otherwise, I was originally gonna do a story run of all 4 characters. It seemed only right. I want to treat this like a typical run through of, say, Sonic Advance. I quickly changed my mind once I finished story mode in post game once, and I shit you not, folks, the sole reason was those goddamn boss fights. Oh my god, imagine the worst boss fights in Sonic 4 Episode 2, or shit, the Lava Reef Act 2 boss in Sonic 3, but that's almost every boss in this game. I mean, shit, as early as the first boss, guys. I'm reading the boss's patterns, I get my hit in, and it's about 10, 11 seconds of nothing happening. I then score another hit when there's an opening, and just when I want the boss to end, there's a whole other fucking phase, and it just keeps going. I know for years boss fights in classic Sonic have been contentious. If you know what you're doing, there's nothing stopping you from bopping them in the head 8 times, and you're good, you're gravy, you can move the fuck on. Not in Sonic Superstars. You get one shot to hit them once, and then it's either a whole bunch of nothing or just dodging attacks until the boss reveals their weak point again a minute later. If you haven't been going after the emeralds to help speed things up with the new powers given, you're gonna be here for a long time. Shit, even with the power-ups, there's nothing you can do to speed up the transitional shit, and that could be so boring. The Sand Sanctuary boss? Fuck this guy. The giant avatar at the end of Cyber Station? Get it away from me. God, the auto-scroller fight with Fang. When does it end? Why is it still going? The quality of the boss fights drop off such a large, steep cliff by the final third of the game that I'm not kidding, knocks the entire game down for me by a couple of pegs. They really are the drizzling shits, guys. The final boss goes on way too long, and the one at the end of Trip's story, which already, God, this mode sucks. It's the game's take on the Knuckles playthrough in Sonic 3, you know, the more difficult adventure. This game's method of difficulty is just, hey, let's just put spikes fucking everywhere and make the boss fights even more obnoxious. The final fight against Fang and his giant purple ass robot is hands down one of the worst fights I ever experienced in Sonic, period. The whole franchise. It's too fucking long. Most things kill you in one hit. It's fucking jank! Why? Why did that happen? Who used chaos control? I just want to finish the goddamn game. Are you shitting me? Holy shit. These are garbage. Plain and simple, power-ups or otherwise. What a fucking joke, man. Who thought these were okay as they were? By the way, this also extends to the true final boss, which unlocks after finishing Trip's story and you collect all the emeralds. So is this the first classic Sonic game to have a last story segment like the early 3D games? That was kind of nostalgic for me, but the final boss is this large purple dragon. Where the fuck this thing come from? In the game, this dude comes out of nowhere. He's only somewhat teased in the animated tie-in, but that's just odd. Why not just have something in the game itself to properly foreshadow this dude? This fight is just a huge ass RNG fest. As Supersonic, all but one attack can hurt you, so what most of the boss does means nothing. The only exception are these black holes the dude launches at you, and these can one-shot you if you don't mad dash out of them. But you gotta be careful with that because dashing causes rings, and that shit adds up quickly. This is just a giant waiting game and hoping the ring spawns are in your favor. Occasionally your friends will swoop in and drop rings, otherwise you have to rely on the scattered rings that spawn wherever the fuck they feel like. It reminds me of the final boss in Mania. I didn't like it there, I don't like it here. You know, for a game called Sonic Superstars where teamwork is emphasized, I'm pretty bummed the other guys aren't directly incorporated into this fight. It's just the Sonic show. I think it would have been more interesting if, I don't know, maybe they handled it like Sonic Heroes or something like that. God damn it, man, this game was going great until the boss fights just shat on everything. It was looking so good too, and I want to stress, until you get to these, this game is a damn solid 2D Sonic game. It's got a lot of zones to explore, it doesn't shamelessly reuse a ton of assets just for the sake of saving money, having 5 playable characters is wonderful for revisits, should you revisit it, and the Emerald powers breathe new life into the formula, giving it an identity that not even Sonic Mania had. Seriously, I hope this concept of the Emeralds doing different things just becomes a Sonic mainstay. Sonic Superstars would have been a solid 9 out of 10 for me, give or take, but don't put too much faith in the numbers that come out of my mouth. There's a reason why I dropped that rating system so long ago. But because of those boss fights and that laughable multiplayer shit, this barely registers as a 6, maybe a low 7, and oh man, a 7 out of 10 Sonic game. The discourse over this is gonna be fucking insufferable, isn't it? Well, look, I'll just say it again. Don't spend $60 on this. Get it at a discount. That shouldn't take long with the Sonic game. Maybe ask for it for the holidays. That always works. Just please keep it civil in the comment section. Well, that's where we're going to leave things for today. I got to head back to the office and start tinkering a couple of things. Hopefully by the beginning of the next video, things should be relatively back to normal. But if you're still hankering, yearning for some Sonic Superstar action and you really want to see what the fuck I'm talking about in regards to the multiplayer stuff, we will be uploading our live playthrough of the game over on SGB very soon. Hell, it might have already started going up by the time even saying all this stuff, right? And again, man, I swear this game will be the end of us. If we somehow make it through this, we're fucking invincible. Nothing can stop us. But that remains to be seen. I'll catch you guys next time with my visit through Mario Brothers Wonder. That game just came out, and I could use a good palate cleanser because I got a safe assumption this game is going to rock my socks off. But I'll only know for sure next time. And as always, thank you all for tuning in and for watching this video. Let's get some Patreon shoutouts done with. Alright, so as always, thanks to everyone who helps support me via Patreon. Here's some shoutouts to some $10 patrons. Again, my apologies if I get some of these names wrong, and if you hear Elliot talking above me, it's because he's currently live streaming while I'm in the middle of doing this, because he's a content creator. I'm a content creator. We're 2 content creators doing different things at the same time. Alright, the Almighty Fool, Quartz, Nathan Allen, Balsamic Vin, Samson Silvo, Daisy Foxtrot, Timothy Charlton, Tailored Muffin, Nathan Back, Don Petretta, or Italian Stallion 330, a fellow Rocky fan, nice, I'd love to see it. Super Luigi, Noah Wizbios, Afik Eliayu, I think I'll tell you, no, that's probably nowhere close. Jacob Mayfield, Mason 309, Cyberman J, Hug Lab, Kyle Taylor, Roach, Let's Play to Win, Brownie Mutt, Zunker, Frozen North, Santiago 7, Jorge, The Fallen JC, Master XXS, Tevi Bear, JD Grawl, Yusuf, Harold Ord, Zern Pharaoh, Plastic Isla, or Isla, Gredrick, Daikon Lavan, Raz, Stubby, Round 71, Noah Fillion, yeah, John T. Jarks, 11X Dark Mercy X11, that's a MySpace name right there, Anon Snake, Reaper Sakuraba, Torakage X, Hawkwing 2650, and finally for today, B612 Gonzalo. All this and more Patreon shouts at the end of the next video. Thank you all, as always, for helping support me, my channel, either just by watching the video, subscribing to the Patreon, watching me on Twitch, or on SGB. Either way, it doesn't matter. If you're here, thank you so much. I will catch you guys in the next video, as always. Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.